Hello, what's going on? We are here at the Absolute Lee Show. It's a podcast with me. I am Lee. That's what we're doing. I am a stand-up comedian. So therefore, in the year of 2024, I guess 2025 now, you need a podcast. So that's what I'm doing. Thank you for being here. Maybe you're here because you've seen me on the road at various venues in the Midwest and South. Maybe you've seen me on the road with Theo. Maybe, most likely, you're like one of my parents' friends. So if that's you, you're cool. Thank you for watching. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to try to talk for about a half hour about what's going on in my life, what's going on in the world. Clip it up, put it out there to the world, and then eventually, guess what? Daddy's going to sell tickets, and that's what we're doing. And I know that let's go ahead and just get it out there. I want to do this. I like you. I love you. I want to be doing this, but I am doing this so that hopefully eventually I'll be able to sell some tickets. Let's just go ahead and get that out there. So if you're watching, please come to a show if I'm within 5 hours. I'll throw you some gas money. Just come. Doesn't matter, man. If the tickets are selling, I'm throwing the money, dude. I'll give it to you. Let's all get rich. Just so vapid. Just so, that's what it is. But hey, man, I'm psyched to do it. I got a killer setup here. I from Lexington, Kentucky, lived in, shout out Lexington, one of the greatest cities in America. Went up to Cincinnati, Ohio, also one of the greatest cities in America. Lived there for like 10 years. Came up there. Shout out Go Bananas. Shout out Joey Votto. Shout out Joey Burrow. And now I'm down here in Nashville. And who knows? This is probably where we'll stick around for a while. But I am engaged. Sorry, ladies and dudes. But yeah, that's what we're doing, man. I was up in Columbus, Ohio. Not to just name drop every city in the Midwest, but I was in Columbus, Ohio last weekend doing comedy shows for Don't Tell. A lot of fun. Shout out Don't Tell. Peter and Dorothy. Love you guys up there. Of course, Simon there, mate. But it was fun. Did a lot of driving. Oh, my God. That is something that you do as a stand-up comedian, is you just drive like a fool, dude. Woke up in Nashville on Thursday. Drove to Columbus. 5 hours, 50 minutes, plus an hour time change. Did a show. It was great. Got to headline it. That was awesome. Has always been a goal of mine, headline a Columbus Don't Tell. So that was very fun. Show was good. Had some folks come out. So really enjoyed that. But yeah, just so much driving. Drove for 7 hours and then drove from Columbus to Cincinnati after my show to sleep in Cincinnati. Driving all the way back. But I don't know. It's kind of like my superpower. People have such an aversion to driving. Sorry, I just chugged one of these before. Oh, God. Man, what is this? I'm trying to be good, man. I'm sorry. This isn't the burp cast, dude. Golly. But I don't know. People are so scared to drive. I've always thought of it as kind of like a superpower. It's like my special skill. I know everybody claims autism valor these days. I'm certainly not saying that I have any level of autism, but hey, if I did, it would be having the ability to just drive nonstop. Doesn't bother me. People get bored. I love it, dude. Phone calls, podcasts, music. It's such a challenge. And I don't know, if you just kind of grit your teeth and get through it, man, don't be bored. Kind of, buy the ticket, take the ride. You can just be anywhere you want. And people are like, oh, wow, you did that? And you're like, yeah, it's not that hard. It's just the ability to be able to sit. Maybe you kind of do have to be a absent-minded young man to be able to do it. But I don't know. I love it, dude. I'm a huge proponent of cruise control. Just get in the right lane. Then you're just sitting. I challenge you to sit. If you could sit in a chair for 7 hours and then just be in Panama City Beach, Florida, you would do that. And you can. It's easy. And if you pee in water bottles, you don't even have to stop to go to the bathroom. And that is another special skill, even more of a specialized skill. I am the king of it. I'm very, very good. When I got to Columbus, or no, so here's the thing. I should absolutely empty them as I go. That's disgusting. I know. But you're kind of in a groove, right? So by the I drove from Nashville to Columbus, Columbus to Cincy, Cincy to Columbus, and then Columbus back to Nashville. And yeah, ended up with 200 fluid ounces of pee. A bunch. Didn't spill a drop. Got really, really good at it. It's a bunch. I've emptied them all out since. Don't worry, not like in a parking lot. I'm not like flooding a parking lot, in my backyard, in the grass. Probably not great for the grass, but yeah. It's not a great quality trait, but hey, man, it is something that I do. And it does cumulatively shave off anywhere from 20 to a half hour. And that's worth it, man. But if I got in a fender bender, I could drown. If I got in a wreck and a cop showed up and just saw 8 to 10 bottles of urine in the back of my car, he would be like, I'm glad this guy died. This guy is a menace to society, dude. But I don't know, man. That's just kind of one of my things. I'm the pee guy. Oh, dude, the most road comic-y thing of all time happened to me in Columbus. It is the most road comic thing that's ever happened. So I lost my wallet like an idiot. I lose a lot of wallets. Lose my hair, lose my wallets. I'm a wallet loser. So I'm rocking the paper ID. Which, by the way, dude, if you go to the BMV and you say, hey, I lost my wallet, I need a new ID, and then on top of that, you manage to get everything that you need. I need the real ID or whatever so I can fly. I don't even know what the real ID is, but I need it, right? So I show up, passport, social security card, bank statement, 3 forms of address, proof of address or whatever. Show up. The only place that I could get an appointment is in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Yes. 2 hours away from Lexington, an hour and a half away from Nashville. Let's go. So I go down to Hopkinsville, Kentucky on a Wednesday, and shout out to them. I mean, I do love Hopkinsville. It's a great town. It's a cool little place. The BMV, everyone was sweet, but it did kind of seem like they were just having a big competition to see who could smile the least. It was not a good vibe in there. But if you show up and you've got all the proper stuff, dude, at least just give me the real card. Give me an ID. I know you got a little machine. Print the shit out. Spit it out. Give me a little actual ID. They give you a piece of printer paper. And everywhere that you take it, no one wants to mess with it. It's sketchy. If you get pulled over and you just give a guy a piece of whatever, 8.5 by 12 printer paper, dude, it's sketchy. No, they won't, you can't buy beer with it. You can't get into a bar with it. Really, the BMV is just punishing you for, 14 to 20 business days after you lost your ID just because you're an idiot and you're a grown up and you shouldn't lose your wallet. Okay. Anyway, I'm trying to check into a hotel up in Columbus with my big paper ID. And it's this old guy, and you can tell that he's owned he's been working at that hotel for a very, very long time. Probably not very stoked on it. He's just kind of a crusty old guy. Not being very nice, not being very understanding. I show him the confirmation number. I show him my paper ID. He's balking on the paper ID. He's like, that's not good. I show him my credit card that I paid with it. Guess what? I booked it through Expedia. They don't share the information. That's no good either. So it's like 1 o'clock in the morning on my birthday, by the way, which is kind of funny. I just spent my birthday fully by myself up in Columbus, getting in a fight at a front desk with an old Indian man about trying to get into. That's literally how I spent the first half hour of my birthday. Is just being like, sir, I am Lee Kimbrell. This is a government-issued piece of printer paper. Please, for the love of God, let me go to sleep in your 2.5-star hotel. Please. Please, I'm begging you. I just want to go to sleep in a room that smells bad from the hallway. His daughter comes out. Saving grace. God love her heart. She's younger. She's got a little spark in her eyes still. She's like, you know what? I'm going to turn this place around. She was happy to be there. And God love her, because she comes in and she's like, you know, talking to her dad. She's like, the paper ID is good. The paper ID is good. And then she goes, just to try to appease her father and get to a solution, she goes, is there any chance that you have another form of picture ID? Which obviously, no, I don't, because then I would have showed it to him already. But I do appreciate that she was like trying to be nice. Also, I could be doing this entire story with Indian accents, and I'm not, because I'm a good guy. Okay. Here's where the road comic thing comes in, man. Here's where the road comic thing comes in. She asked for another form of picture ID. I go, ding, ding, ding. Maybe, just maybe. I go, yeah, I think I do. I run out to my car. I grab a T-shirt. I grab my merch. It's got my face on it, and it says Lee Kimbrell, stand-up comedian and friend. And I walked in, and I go, I know that this isn't official or anything, but I just hold this T-shirt up and then hold it like that so my face is right next to it, and I go, I could not possibly have planned this, right? I am Lee Kimbrell. And they all laughed, and I got into the hotel, baby. I got into the hotel, and the front desk lady, she was like, oh, can I have a T-shirt? And I was like, for $25, and she bought one. Boom! Oh my God, what a victory. Sitting there at the front desk of a Holiday Inn Express outside of Columbus, they gave me money. They gave me money, dude. Felt good. That was a win. That was a win. And that's like a great birthday. Then I went up into my room. I'm clicking on the TV. It's not a good TV, you know. It's like the TV, the clicker's that big. It says Samsung. The TV says Toshiba. You're like, how is this working, you know? But managed to click on, boom, what was on? John Wick 2. The kid won. I sat there and I ate a gas station dinner, which is just like 3 different kinds of chips and a piece of carrot cake. But I drank a big old water. Stay hydrated on the road. Got to fill up the bottle somehow, you know? Boom! Okay, cool. I did all my Christmas shopping while I was up there. They've got the Easton up in Columbus. It's like a big outdoor mall. It's where the Funny Bone is. Shout out the Bone. Yeah, outdoor malls 12 days before Christmas is a real scary place, man. It was absolute chaos, man. People were just so many people with cars. The outdoor malls, they really didn't think about it. It's a regular mall. Imagine going to a regular indoor mall, but then there's just a bunch of minivans driving around. Everyone's walking, but then there's just traffic. Yeah, I saw 3 people get hit by cars. They didn't even do anything with the bodies, just left them sitting there on the side of the road. It was a Christmas miracle. But yeah, got a bunch of my Christmas shopping done, which is good. I don't know. I know I'm just not much of an online guy as far as purchasing things. I like to go there in person, exchange currency for a physical good and then leave. I like the sales experience. I walked into a place called Sur La Table. It's like a kitchen place. And I just had this little old lady, and God, she was just working me, dude. She was upselling me and just getting after it. And I don't know, I was going to go for it anyway. So it was fun, man. I was proactive. It was a good weekend up there, man. The shows were fun. Worked out some new material. It was good. It felt pretty good, man. I felt good about Columbus. It was fun. I talked to this couple after the show, and, I love talking to people after the show. The number one thing that people talk about is probably like, I could never do that. And yeah, I guess that's true. Most people probably couldn't. Okay, I'm not saying that like stand-up comedy is this crazy thing that only a select few can do, because Lord that knows that is not true. I go to open mics still. I used to run one for many, many years. Anybody can try stand up. It is a equal opportunity. Every crazy person on earth can get up there as long as you can. You don't even got to be able to stand, dude. Fiona Colley's proof of that. As long as you just have working vocal cords, you can be a stand-up comedian. And like the ego to be like, nope, it's going to work for me. I'm going to do it. People are going to want to hear what I have to say. But most people don't. Like, you know, the number one fear or whatever is public speaking. That's always kind of blown my mind. The number one fear in America is public speaking. Everyone's heard that. And I don't know. That seems pretty crazy to me, man. I heard a theory about why it's the biggest fear or whatever. And it's because like epigenetically speaking, so epigenetics is like, you know, genetics is blonde hair, blue eyes, skin color, height, stuff like that. Epigenetics are like experiences that have been passed through generations and stuff, like different kinds of trauma and shit. Like epigenetics would be, an example would be like someone who has like sleep apnea, someone who can't sleep, right? Someone who stays up all night. Epigenetically speaking, maybe if you go back in their family line, their great grandfathers or whatever were like night watchmen, right? So they just kind of stayed up all night and had to stay up all night, and then they had a kid, and the way it worked back then is that kid had that same job. So maybe there's like 5 or 6 generations of grandpas down the line who were night watchmen, and now you're a guy who just fucking stares at the ceiling all night. That's epigenetics. So why people are scared of public speaking is not too long ago, if you were standing up by yourself, expected to speak in front of everybody, in front of like the whole village or whatever, that was a bad thing. That probably meant that you were about to be like publicly executed or killed. For thousands of years, if you were just standing up in front of everybody and everyone was looking at you, that was bad. It was either you were about to get executed or hanged by the neck or chopped your head off for the sun god Ra or whatever it was, or you were the leader and everyone was looking to you to be like, hey man, shit's so bad that we need a speech, and you're the one giving the speech. So it's like all this scariness, and then everyone in the crowd is sitting out there. Everyone in the village or the tribe or whatever is looking up there like, holy shit, I am so glad that I'm not the guy up there standing by myself. And then they all had babies, and then everyone in their head is just like, whoo, I do not want to be the motherfucker standing up there by himself. And that's why everyone's scared of public speaking. Which is kind of funny that all stand-up comedians, if you think of it in that sense, have just fully accepted death. Are kind of just looking right down the barrel of it like, yes, take me. I don't know. It's funny. I don't know. I think my public speaking thing is I just, for whatever reason, nipped it early, dude. I was up on stage for as long as I can remember. I know that sounds so corny, but like my first grade teacher was this lady named Miss Eastwood. And she was like a real life version of Miss Frizzle, dude. She was incredible. Everything was a song. Everything was a dance. All we talked about was like ancient Native American gods and shit. It was cool. Miss Eastwood rules. And we were learning about like forest creatures or whatever. And she wrote this song called A Beaver Builds a Habitat. A beaver builds a habitat, a very special habitat. It was good. She had some bars, man. It was awesome. They build the dams, water to drink, deer, otter, rabbit, and mink. I mean, dude, I'll get the rest of the song. We'll get it. But I sang the shit. We performed it to the whole school, and I loved it. So I came into class the day of the performance, and guess what I found? We had a little farm down in eastern Kentucky. Very lucky. We go on walks. I found a beaver stick. I found a big old stick that a beaver had beavered on, done his thing, you know? So I come in and I'm holding the beaver stick, and Miss Eastwood is like, boom, you're it, man. You're the guy. You're going to hit the solo at the end. And I did. And it was a whole class of first graders. You know the scene. Everybody steps up, says a line, goes to the back of the line. Next kid hits the line, goes to the back of the line. Everyone gets a line. I got the last line, dude. I got the last line, and I walked up holding a damn beaver stick. A beaver builds a habitat, a very special habitat. Dude, so that was first grade. Second grade, I was in a play called The Prince and the Pauper. And it was just the play The Prince and the Pauper, except it was different because everyone was a penguin. And I got to do that, and we performed in front of the whole school, and I loved that, and I sang. Third grade, I dressed up as Abraham Lincoln. Top hat, beard, little suit, whole thing. Dressed up as Abraham Lincoln and recited all the presidents in front of the whole school. That was scary. Fourth grade, lip synced In Sync with me and four of my boys. And it wasn't even like a fun little poppy song. It was This I Promise You, which is their loveliest song. And it's just like, 5 9-year-old boys up there all dressed like a NSYNC guy, lip syncing This I Promise You and dancing and body rolling. And it was, kind of a bad look. Probably the worst performance I had in my elementary school career. But then I made up for it because then we hit the Jackson 5. Okay, maybe it's not great that, 5 white kids were Jackson 5, but whatever. We did do that. Yeah, no blackface, nothing of that sort. We all were we were all Michael Jackson in the future. That's, I think, if you have to go back and defend it now, 5 white kids being the Jackson 5, I think you would defend it by just saying, hey, we didn't do blackface. And by the way, good on us, it was 1998. We could have. We could have done blackface. I probably wanted to, and even they were like, no, don't. I know it's Kentucky in 1998, but don't do blackface. But we're just Michael Jackson from the future. That's how you spin it. Yeah, all these kids are just Michael Jackson if he was, also white as a boy instead of a man. Yeah, dude. After that, elementary school was huge. Big part of my life was the performance troupe. Shout out Judy Reynolds, Adam Kirk. You guys are geniuses. It was performance troupe, man. We danced. There was a chorus. There was a drum pit. There was the stomp thing where we would dance with chairs and sticks and basketballs and all that kind of stuff like that. There was a bongo ensemble and all the glockenspiels and wood blocks and xylophones. And there was 50 or 60 of us that would stay after school and practice all this different stuff. And then we took that shit on the road, boy. We took that on the road. We'd pile up in a school bus and roll up. We rolled up to 20 different elementary school and middle schools in the state of Kentucky and hit them with the performance troupe, dude. It was awesome. And I was whatever, heavily involved in that, dude. I was big dancer. Yeah, people wouldn't guess that about me, man. But 3rd through 5th grade, my favorite thing was choreographed hip hop dance. We had a class in my school called Creative Movement. It ripped. It was awesome, dude. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, a bunch of white kids doing that too? No, not really, man. My school was split down the middle, man, 50-50. It was awesome. Was it embarrassing? Here's something that shapes a young man, dude. If you're in 5th grade and there's 10 cool black kids in your class, and then the lesson for the day is to learn to do the sea walk, and you just have to do that in a room full of mirrors, and then eventually go and do that on the road, that'll shape a young man. So shout out to the performance troupe for really callousing up my that muscle that you need as a comedian. It basically, as a comic, you just have to tamp down the human reaction of being embarrassed, because that is, even when it's going well, if you zoom out, the shit's embarrassing, dude. Go up there and you're like, oh, look at me. everyone look at me, put the light on me, amplify my voice, and if don't talk while I'm talking or you're gonna get kicked out. It's so shitty, dude. You know, I did a show. Yeah, it's crazy. But I don't know. I'm not one of those guys who hate stand up. I love fucking stand up. I love it for that reason. You know, that's why people just want to be heard. Some of us want to be heard more than others. I gave the graduation speech at my middle school and my high school. Middle school one was the one where I first got heckled. That was the first time I had to deal with a heckler. I was up there, and these were big crowds. Like my middle school, everyone graduating in 8th grade, plus all their parents and grandparents and stuff. It was probably like 500-600 people going up there reading a speech that like I wrote / mostly my mom. You know, my mom really helped me out a lot. She was my early speech writer in my career, or at least helped me out with it. But I was up there giving a speech, and it was going well, trying to get a couple laughs, take a dig out, say the principal looks like Lord Farquaad because she did. That killed. But then here's the heckle. It's not some jerk, right? It was this kid named Todd. Shout out Todd. He was bad off, not disposition wise. He seemed to be like a very happy guy, but he was disabled, right? He was in the wheelchair, and his brain was in a wheelchair too. He was bad off, but just like lit up a room. He was so excited. He was like, yeah, he was hyped on life. Everyone got hyped around Todd. It was never a problem. He would like disrupt every assembly that we had, and everyone was like, hell yeah, Todd. God, I hope he's still alive somehow. But I was up there giving my speech, and Todd and I were, we were buddies. We'd pass each other in the hall. I knew his helper, Miss Lindsay, and so Todd was my buddy, and I was giving the speech, and then Todd from the back of the room, I'm not gonna do it, but just like imagine it, Imagine every stereotypical of a mentally challenged person like spazzing, okay? Like out of excitement and joy. He was graduating 8th grade. He was hyped, dude. He had a little hat on, Imagine him just spazzing, dude. And I'm up there trying to give my little speech, and it's dead quiet, and then Todd's in the back just getting so hyped. And just like in the middle of it, because, I'm just going down like reading a Word document with 36 font double spaced, And I was like, everybody shout out Todd Wise, make some noise for my boy Todd. And the place just went crazy. And you look back and Todd's just like, just so hyped. That was a beautiful moment. So that definitely stuck with me, probably, somehow informed my future decision to do stand up or whatever. And then the high school speech was fun too, got away with saying hell. Rift said the word damn. That was great. That was in Rupp Arena, which is insane. There were several thousand people there. And then, yeah, here you are. Straight out of college, I had a couple jobs, but my degree was in education, and I was a building sub at a school in Cincinnati. I just showed up every day, and, they'd stick me somewhere. And then eventually a job opened up, and I took over a class for like a whole year. And then after that year, continued to sub a little bit more. But there's a bunch of ex-teachers in comedy, just because you want to talk about the worst audience of all time. The worst audience of all time would be like, 13-year-old kids at 8 o'clock in the morning. Your entire act, they already don't like. And you have to go up there and get them to trust you and like you, or not even like you, but just like respect you enough to take the ride with you or whatever. So yeah, you do that. And then a Friday late show in Des Moines is nothing, because at least no one's like throwing an eraser at your head and asking you like when they're ever going to use this shit, So shout out to all my teachers out there. Let's see, how are we going to land this ship, baby? Okay, this is how we'll do it. I'm kind of working this as a bit, but then really realistically, I'll only be able to like do it 1 month of the year, maybe 6 weeks of the year, but it's about Santa Claus. My personal experience with Santa Claus is I believed in him way too long. Like, I was 11 going on 12, believing in Santa Claus. I just a whimsical kid, you know? I was just a whimsical kid. I wanted to believe in it. It's not like my parents were super manipulative or anything, you know? They weren't like really hamming up the lie or that. I just wanted to believe. It was the first thing that I just kind of looked the other way on, I think, you know? I just wanted to believe in old Saint Nick. My brother is 2 years younger than me. He figured it out when he was 5. He was 5 years old, and he went to my mom and dad, and he goes, listen, I know that Santa Claus isn't real, but don't tell Lee. Don't tell Lee. My sweet little 5-year-old brother was like, don't tell that naive idiot. Let him just live in, you know, this world where Santa exists. And then I found out about Santa not being real at the beginning of 5th grade. Very beginning of 5th grade, I had a whistleblower who let me know that it was an inside job. Power all the way up the chain of command, man. And he wasn't doing it he wasn't coming up and being like, hey, you believe in Santa? He's not real. He came up to me like he was also tore up. Like he just found out about it and he needed to vent with somebody. You know, he was like, listen, man, it's bad. Santa's not real. And I was like, what do you mean? And it just kind of spun you out. Like when you believe it that long, even if it's one of those things that you didn't really believe, but when you find out, I was like, what do you mean? And then it's like Santa Claus was my first conspiracy theory. It was the first thing that like flubbed my whole worldview, where I was just like, Santa's not real. Everyone's been lying to me. We got to follow the money. Are elves real? And what's going on at the North Pole? If Santa's not real, whose lap did I sit on? You know, I was like spiraling down this rabbit hole of deceit. And and that was 5th grade for me. The beginning of 5th grade for me, I swear to God, was early September 2001. That's right. So I found out that Santa wasn't real, and then like literally a week later, 9/11 happened. So I was already predisposed, dude. That's why I'm into conspiracies now. 9/11 happened. I was like, fake. No way. No way that's the real story, man. Yeah. Slow the footage down, dude. Those aren't planes. Those are sleighs. Okay? So yeah, I don't know. I'll definitely pull off the Santa thing for my kids for a little while, but yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. We'll see. Hopefully he'll just figure it out, or she, you know, whatever. But dude, that's it. That's the Absolute Lee Show. We're going to keep rolling with this thing. We are committed. Me and my boy Aiden behind the camera, we are going to do this shit. We are going to see this through, and I'm really hyped on it. So thanks for being here, and I will see you at the next Absolute Lee Show. Bam. See ya. We're grooving.